So this is our chimney slash skylight. It's going to be covered in a split face brick. It's going to have a lot of cool details, but Travis, this is the one that you and I are probably going to be working the hardest at.
So this is a detail that we've done to solve multiple problems. The massing of the house needed the scale of a chimney, but it's in the wrong place. And so we've built into as many things into this kind of chimney piece as possible. So on the inside, directly underneath this is the staircase to the lower level, but you've got the mass for the massing of the house that then has an integrated skylight that's directly over the staircase inside, which has a shaped and kind of sculpted interior space.
But the complexity of the air sealing for things like this, where you have to integrate, it can get a little bit tricky pretty fast. Like we could do some really cool tape over this, liquid flash that. Somebody in our industry always refers to caulking and sealants as pookie. You know, you just pookie that, and
that's a lot of pookie.
Totally is. We're really fortunate in this situation. We can simplify all of this by simply continuing the zip on this side, and it doesn't need to be zip R. We're not as worried about the thermal benefit here because our thermal barrier is actually under this roof deck, but we just don't like to waste material. We have the zip R on site. We're wrapping the exterior with the zip R. The interior, I suspect, we'll end up using the 1/2-inch roof sheathing cutoffs, and it doesn't need to be insulated in this location because it's not continuous into the thermal envelope. But we'll go ahead and clad this face, clad the inside of this, clad the exterior, and we're taping over the top. Almost like if we were doing an airtight drywall on the interior where you would tape from the outside of your sheathing over the lid and bring it to the interior. We're just gonna continue that fold onto the back side. And that's gonna allow us to detail this as well from the sheathing down to the roof deck so that we are full continuity of every zip surface to zip. But that's gonna allow this to be airtight and watertight. All of this can flow out. This gap was chosen specifically to allow for some snow to be carried and melt off.
And then as a roofing game, we really just allowed the pitch of the roof to run up inside and then created a kind of a cricket gutter that allows the water to just drain out. So it becomes a kind of a standard roof condition.
On the inside, we're gonna do a ton of ice and water shield, but since it's a 3 and 12, our roofer is gonna go ahead and roof it. But this is gonna be where our skylight is. And below me is the staircase to the basement. So we're gonna have this really cool natural light coming down. And it will, in the morning it won't be as bright as when it's like in the middle of the afternoon when the sun's just coming straight down. In the evening it will also dim a little bit.
For lack of a better term, it turns into a little bit of a western town to camouflage the skylights and this kind of venting that happens inside. Instead of having these things just be resultants, they become the kind of architectural strategy that solves a larger massing problem for the house.
In addition to detailing the top of this to be durable, we're gonna have to detail the inside with some cladding to make sure that any snow that would sit in this cavity can sit there against the cladding without damage and then flow out. Metal cap on the top, just like we'll be using on the curb mount for the skylight, and then that lintel that you talked about here to carry this Roman split face brick. This is one of those builder details where the people on the ground and the neighbors will never appreciate how difficult this was, but guys like us really care about how this works, and we really appreciate Chris nailing the detail on this because this is gonna work great.